Hello and welcome to the Accelerator-10. My name is Jason, as you know, here at Suffer City. Myself, along with our other coaches from Joey, Steven, Brian, as well as Courtney working in nutrition. Hey, we're pumped, we're excited, we are motivated, we are ambitious with regard to helping you achieve some of the greatest goals you can imagine setting for yourself as it relates to your health, your fitness, and your overall well-being. Now, I want to thank those who were able to make it to the Accelerator 10 kickoff today, the short mindset workshop that we went over. Now, if you weren't able to make it, hey, no big deal. As I stated in the workshop itself, hey, a lot of these coming together celebratory kickoffs, like seminars or going to any type of a motivational workshop, hey, a lot of that stuff is just get the motivational juices flowing. You're not going to miss out a whole lot on some of the most important content, which is the 10-week process. So if you weren't able to make it today, hey, I'll quickly cover some of the fundamentals, some of the basics. Hey, if it's of interest to you, whether it's neurology, neuroscience, psychology, neuropsychology, hey, if that stuff is interesting to you, then maybe you want to take a listen. If you were already at the mindset workshop today, or hey, maybe you're a full master when it comes to cognitive abilities, neuro-linguistic programming, and if that's the case, hey, you may want to skip this as well. But some of the content I do cover over the next minute to 2 minutes is some of the fundamental focus that we'll be aiming in on over the course of the next 10 weeks. Your human brain, which appears to create in some way your human mind. What is it? How does it work? And hey, how can you use it to get the most out of it so you can start exercising some of the habits, some of the rituals that lead you to your best self. And so that's the first distinction I'd like to make here, is just understanding there's a difference between your brain, the hardware, and of course your mind or our mental software. Huge difference there. Now, everybody's brains are obviously constructed slightly different, which gives you your own unique perspective and view on the world. Now, that comes down to not just what you see in terms of the way you see red and the way I see it, or the way you taste chocolate or the way I taste it. We're also talking about how this stuff makes you feel. When you see a particular car that reminds you of riding around with your grandparents when you were young, or you hear a particular song that strikes a nerve and maybe reminds you of an old relationship, or maybe just makes me feel good. I don't know. But in either case, we're all moving around the world with incredibly different perceptual experiences as to what's going on around us. So the point here is we're all moving around the world with very different conscious experiences. You taste chocolate, tastes good. I taste chocolate, it tastes great. Maybe somebody out there, they taste chocolate and hey, it doesn't taste good. To hell with them. That's their problem, right? In any case, we're all working with slightly different perceptions as we look at the same thing. So how do we get the most out of our physical brain? Well, that comes to our mind, our mental software, and how we choose to use certain features of our mind to improve the architecture, the physical construction of our brain. So that's what a lot of the Accelerator 10 is here to do, help you use that tool of the mind to reshape and physically alter your brain's construction, which will then reconstitute and reframe and improve the quality of your mind. It sounds a little crazy, I understand that, but hey, isn't life a little crazy? So why is this important? If we're doing a health and fitness and nutrition workshop over the course of 10 weeks, why am I talking about psychology? Why am I talking about cognitive abilities and neuroscience and things like that? Why is this even important? Well, you probably know as well as I do at this point that your commitment level, the mental approach you take to the physical actions in your life matters. And for a lot of people, most of the time, it matters far more than they give it credit for. In fact, most people you know, they probably want an improved life. They maybe want to lose weight, gain weight, improve muscle mass, improve the tone, their physique. Some people want to live somewhere else, have a better job, have a better position at the current job they have. All of us want something better than what we have now. And hey, even if it's good, even if life is good, hey, if better is possible, is good enough? Well, for you, clearly not, because I'm sure a lot of people with whom you associate, hey, they'd say you're the healthiest person that they know. Your family probably identifies you as the healthy one, or the kid that got it together, so to speak. Well, the fact is, you and everybody else want more, and our brains have a lot to do with that. Now, I want to congratulate you, and you owe yourself a good pat on the back. Hey, you're doing something about that internal, that innate, that intrinsic desire to improve yourself. So that's absolutely important, because here's what often happens. especially here at Suffer City. And I could use Suffer City as sort of a unique observational tool, sort of a petri dish that we could really investigate what's going on in people's life as it relates to their health and fitness. But coming to Suffer City from just about any other training program, you're going to recognize quick, fast results. You're going to, whether it's weight you're trying to lose or muscles you're trying to see in the mirror, if you do the training here with regularity, 3, 4, 5 times a week, and you exercise some level of awareness as it relates to your nutrition, you're going to see those results probably pretty quick. But as your body adapts and you become somewhat familiar with the demand you've newly imposed upon yourself, listen, those quick results, they're not going to happen. The margins are going to get smaller. We're going to have to improve the demand to improve the result. But what happens? A lot of people, even though they're doing more work than they once were, they'll get a little satisfied. They'll get complacent. They're moving around in a slightly impoverished mindset. They're not moving toward their goal. They're sort of reiterating the same process and the same result again and again and again. Now, they're thinking that they want more. They're telling their friends they want more. And I'm sure you got friends, as I mentioned before, that tell you, hey, I want more. I want to look better, feel better, do more. I want to do these things. But then, do the things get done that produce those other things? Do they ever get done, right? So there's this trade-off in ability that a lot of people are willing to make, and it's a mindset focus, because most people, when they get started, they'll focus in on what they want, and they'll really get motivated about it. Their ambitions will be high, and maybe they'll create a new schedule, and they'll think about what they're going to do to get what it is they want. But what they fail to recognize early on also is what they're not going to do. Some of the things they're going to have to sacrifice, some of the trade-offs they're going to have to make. In order to get some of that stuff I want, I'm going to have to give away a little bit. And that's what a lot of what we all discussed today is about, getting involved in the Accelerator-10, realizing hey, you don't need to show up to some big seminar to get a strong emotional, psycho-emotional, even a spiritual buy-in to the next venture you're going to take. You don't got to do it. It's a purely internal, it's a you thing. Right? It's a you thing. And for some of us, what helps us get charged that way is showing up to a seminar or workshop or a big conference or something like that. That stuff is emotionally charging. It's motivating. But what keeps us going? What keeps us going when the motivation's gone? That's what we really dived into today. And that's what you're going to be exercising over the course of this Accelerator-10 are the things that people don't consider that are going to be absolutely necessary beyond the motivation, the ambition, and the want and desire for more. What are these things? Well, I'm talking about accountability, responsibility, discipline, and that's the main focus of your Accelerator-10 here. Getting into the mechanics of what are the schedules and the reward systems that keep us accountable to a process that's challenging. All right, because the Accelerator-10, it's going to be a raising of your own standard. It's going to be challenging. We're going to stretch you out. So with that being said, it's important to really onboard the psychology, the mindset of a champion, and understand that you're going to have to rigorously remind yourself, all right, mind and remind yourself again and again and again, hey, what you're committed to, who you are, and who you are becoming as a product of being committed to this process, and then eventually arriving at that state where you've achieved your goals. Once we get to the end of these 10 weeks, a lot of those massive actions, they're going to become embedded in you. They're going to become part of your constitution, not just what you do, but who you are. And that is the goal here, is to take several components from over the course of these 10 weeks, whether they're mindset tools, nutrition habits, movement habits that you reintegrate in your body, or recovery tools, how you take care of yourself. Some of these things, not all of them are going to stick, let's be honest. Not all of these things are going to stick forever. It'd be great if they did. But if we can keep some of them embedded into the construct of who you are, and they become less of things that you have to try to do or work to do, but they're just things that you do as a product of who you are. That is the aim here. Because at that point, we've elevated the natural state. And that's what we want to do. If our natural state's here, hey, even if things are good, hey, it's better possible, let's work. So we have to dig in a little bit. We have to stay accountable. We have to execute. So that's what the Accelerator-10 is here to do, to give you a set of tools, teach you how to use them, keep you accountable to using them for 10 weeks, again and again and again. And then, hey, when the 10 weeks is over, hey, what did we learn? What really worked for us well? What do we want to hold on to? What are some things that, hey, maybe they're great for somebody else, but not for me? All right, so that was a big part of what we went over today. Now I'll dive into our additional duties.